Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So today we're going to take a look at the latest generation for the Mercedes Benz AMG G63. Huge shout out to 704 Exotics for providing this SUV for me today. Check out their website, that link is down in the description. This G Wagon is finished off in emerald green pearl, and powering the G Wagon is a 4-liter twin turbo V8 paired to the 9-speed automatic transmission, pumping out 577 horsepower, 627 pound-feet of torque. Sent through the 4MATIC all-wheel drive system, it will propel this 5,800-pound SUV from 0 to 60 in around 4 seconds. Top speed is 149 miles an hour with the AMG driver's package. This also has a fuel capacity of 26.4 gallons. You'll expect to see around 13 miles per gallon in the city, 15 out on the highway. This has a wheelbase of 113.8 inches. Its overall length is 191.9. It has a width of 78.1, a height of 77.4, and its ground clearance measures in at 9.2 inches. As we move on to the exterior styling now for the G Wagon, let's start off with the grille. Mercedes logo is front and center with a forward-facing camera, AMG badge, and then chrome trim that matches the Mercedes logo very nicely. Plenty of cutouts to provide a lot of cooling. There's also another Mercedes-Benz badge at the base of the hood there. And then for the lower section, this one has the brush guard, which you can get in different colors. This one is chrome to match, or brushed aluminum to match the wheels, which is nice to see. Plenty of cutouts in the lower section. There's also sensors down below. This has LED headlights, DRLs, and the turn signals are mounted up top, so they are not within that headlight high beam housing. Very nice lines on the hood. It's separated from the bodywork that extends past the turn signals. So very distinctive from other SUVs on the market. Has kind of a boxy look to it. Not as boxy as the previous generation, but it is still iconic, and you know what this vehicle is. Now for the side, this has a massive set of 22-inch wheels with the multi-spoke design to them, massive AMG brakes just behind them, and then some nice lines that run down the side. You will notice that the bumper works its way into the fender flare, so that's a nice integration. Fixed side steps with the dual exhaust on both passenger and driver side. This has body-colored, power-folding side mirrors, camera system, and the turn signal there. There's also this structure that runs around. It's actually pretty nice because it will allow water to drip out and around and not get into the door jamb there when you have that open, and it gives it a cool look too. You might be able to use that for some other rooftop accessories as well. But from the side, there's the trim piece that runs right through the height of the door handles just to make them blend in a little bit nicer. Some lines in the lower section too. It may not be everyone's taste, but the G Wagon is definitely a very iconic SUV. In the rear, third brake light up top, we have the tire cover for that spare tire, AMG badge. There is a backup camera, and this can tow right around 6,500 pounds or so. All of the sensors are in that bumper too. So let's move on to the rear cargo space. So we open this rear door towards the driver's side. There's a grab handle on the inside there, and then a good amount of storage space. It's a very boxy vehicle, but there's still plenty of room to make this a practical SUV. I'd say it's a little bit shorter than some other SUVs in this segment, but nonetheless, you have that. You can fold the back seats down too. So it definitely gives you a good amount of space. And then when you close all of these doors, it sounds like a military vehicle. Just the latch and the click of the mechanism is almost like a bullet sound. It's very distinctive. For the interior, this model has the brown leather wood trim, the Burmester audio sound system, a little bit of storage down below, window control up top, and then the brown interior with the two-tone design. Fixed running board makes it easy to jump up into this at 5'10", where I have plenty of space for my legs. There's air vents, climate adjustments, a little bit of storage down below. There's pockets behind both front seats, and I have around 4 or 5 inches between my head and the Alcantara headliner. So you could be taller than me and still be comfortable in the back. It's very boxy, but very tall too. Right in the middle, there's the armrest with 2 cup holders, and then you can tell with how large all of the windows are, there's a lot of light that's provided to the interior, and we have that very cool sound. Now for up front, you'll notice all of the seat adjustments are on the door panel itself, memory seating adjustments. They're heated and ventilated, lock and unlock, window and mirror adjustments, and then the release handle is nicely integrated into that trim piece with the speaker. So that's a cool design. And then same design with the AMG badge for these front seats. Now as we look at the steering wheel, it has a combination of solid and perforated leather, and it's a flat bottom design with AMG. On this left side, these are for the cruise control settings, and then up top is for the gauge cluster. On the right side, there's volume, Bluetooth and voice commands, favorites, and then all of these are for the infotainment system. This also has paddle shifters too. But let's fire this up. And looking at the gauge cluster, on the left side is miles per hour along with what gear you're in. On the right side, there's the tach and some other info that's within that, some vitals that you can monitor. And then right in the middle, you can go through a lot more by using these controls located on the left side. So currently, there's miles per hour along with some other vitals that you can look at. If I scroll down, there's settings that you can be in, along with the G-force meter, a lap time, even live readouts for horsepower and torque. Now if I use that center icon, now I can go to the right side where you can look at all of that information that is available within that. There's a few things that are similar, but some differences too. And then that is pretty much it. You can also go through the top section there, so you can look at navigation, radio, media, there's your phone, and different designs that you can go into. So we've been in classic right now. I can completely change it to sport, which is very nice. And then progressive is the last one. So it really just depends on how you would like that display to be, and then you can still pull up that information over on that left side. So you can go into the performance, monitor all of that, even look at your service and your driver assistance. So it's pretty cool to have that layout just depending on how you'd like to drive. Now on the left side, there's all the headlight adjustments, there's also the lane keeping assist and the parking sensors. E-brake is located down below. This has interior ambient lighting. And then as we work our way to the infotainment system, hopefully you can see there's more green lighting up underneath that. And surprisingly, this is not a touchscreen system. So you have controls on the steering wheel, just like you saw for the gauge cluster setup, or you can use all of the ones located down below. So there's the trackpad in the middle that you can use to further go through this. You have the home icon as well, so you can get back to this information, and then use that pad on the top to scroll through the rest of this information. So it's interesting to see that it's not a touchscreen system, but it is easy to go through with the various controls that you have. Not a whole lot of information that you can go through aside from this home screen here where you can monitor all of this. But it's nice that you do have this system and you can quickly go through that. Now there's wood trim that surrounds that. Brushed aluminum surrounds the air vents along with the lockers. So this has 3 lockers, a front, a center, and a rear locker. You can use all of those if you want to take your G Wagon off the pavement. Below that, we have all the climate adjustments. There's the menu in the center, which will pop up in the upper screen, so you can quickly go through all this information as needed. And then you have fan speed, temperature dials, where you would like the air to go. And if we go back up here, we can go through a dynamic select. You can go through engine data, vehicle data, you have other dynamics. So it's nice that you can scroll through all this. You have climate controls, your seats that you can go into, even the lighting adjustments that I just noticed. And then in the lower section, we have the water bottle holders there, and that is pretty much it that you can go through. A little bit of space just in front of that. Now on both sides of this control, we have the dynamic button, which will go through the different drive modes. So there's slippery, individual, comfort, sport, and sport plus. And then there's also the M mode, which allows you to use the paddle shifters. There's a suspension setting along with traction control, and then volume for the radio. We have some other home controls in order to get to that info, the exhaust note, the low range gear, and then a shortcut to the camera assistance. So you can turn on that if needed. There's also another rotary dial to further go through these angles. Since it's not touchscreen, of course, look at the amount of angles that you get with this vehicle. Definitely a lot, even over the bull bar up front. So if you are going off-road, you have a lot of visibility. We have plenty of space with some auxiliaries in the center armrest, and then a good bit for the glove box there. We'll take a look at visibility from the driver's seat. It's so open. We have the sunroof there too. Can easily see over that left shoulder. And we have a very steeply raked windshield. It gives you a high presence when you are driving this down the road. But now, in order to put this into drive, we have reverse, which is up, of course, for the backup camera. Park is the end of the stalk, drive is all the way down, and now we can get this out on the road. As we set off now behind the wheel of the G Wagon, one thing that's pretty cool, aside from the acceleration in just a normal setting, that was the exhaust off. So if you heard it, now we have it on. One thing's cool though that I've noticed just driving around the parking lot is that when you turn the steering wheel to the left or the right on a hard turn, that opposite bolster will actually puff up a little bit and give you support. So that way you're not sliding back to back. Honestly, that would be great in every vehicle, but if you're taking this on some twisty roads and you're going back and forth a lot, I could feel that as I turned it to the left there, the right one popped out a little bit. I think that's a cool little touch. But the all-new latest generation for the G Wagon, I think these are going for right around 200,000. If not, we're looking at 250, somewhere around that range. These are very sought-after vehicles, and I think it's really cool. Some people don't think it's quite as practical as some other SUVs, more of a status symbol, but I like it. This thing is very, very cool, very quick too. And surprisingly though, we were at Uwari the other day and we saw a G Wagon lifted with some knobby tires getting ready to hit the trails. I wish we had time to follow it through the trails to see how it does, because let's face it, people buying the G Wagon, this is going to be a pavement princess. You're not taking your $250,000 SUV off the pavement. However, it has the settings and the technology to make it a capable vehicle. You can take this off-road, and aside from maybe breakover angle, obviously with the exhaust tucked up underneath the running boards there, this is going to be a pretty capable vehicle. It's just not one that is off-road often, but it's meant to go off-road. So props to that owner for taking his G Wagon off the pavement. And I'm not in this a whole lot. I've probably driven two, maybe this is the third one, and I like it. This is a really sweet vehicle to be able to drive. Shifts are so smooth too, which is impressive. Obviously it's a Mercedes Benz. It's going to be a luxury focused, but still have some sporty characteristics being an AMG. So it has all of that performance, of course, for this trim level, and I can feel this bolster as I'm going to the right. But it's pretty easy to go through everything. I will say the downside is the fact that this isn't a touchscreen system, but aside from that, everything else is what you would expect. I love it. I love how upright you are. It feels like you're in a Wrangler. So if you've driven a Wrangler, it has that steep, or even a Bronco, has that steeply raked windshield. So you can almost see the base of the hood here, and you have no obstructions for your visibility. I got all the support right here, and it's going to transfer over. It can take these turns well. I got some stuff sliding there. It's not something to take on back roads, performance driving. It's kind of more straight line, but you do have some handling characteristics to it, which is nice. But for the most part, this probably won't be driven that hard, but it is nice to know that when you want to, from second gear, it doesn't feel as fast as you would think with that horsepower because it weighs almost 6,000 pounds, but it's healthy. It'll get up and move. And from second gear again, here we go. Up to speed. It sounds very healthy for that V8. If you're looking for a powerhouse, this is basically the top level for the SUV lineup from Mercedes Benz, going with the G Wagon. It's been pretty comfortable too. It's very nice to drive, smooth as well. I have it in one of the two suspension settings, Sport Plus actually, and I'm used to some stiffer suspension setups, so even Sport Plus to me is very nice. But if I dial it back, it gets a little bit less stiff, of course. So just depending on how you want to drive this, you have an array of options and settings to make this six-figure SUV drive to your liking for the day. There we go. I am impressed with how this drives. It should drive amazing for its price tag. And up to speed just like that. So if you're in the market for something that's extremely distinctive, not unlike any other SUV, G Wagon is a status symbol in a way, but for me, I like it just because of what it is. It's a very cool SUV if you don't factor in that price tag. I think it's definitely very cool, something unique, something you really don't see quite as much, of course, compared to some other vehicles that are on the market. But that's gonna wrap it up for this G Wagon. Once again, huge shout out to 704 Exotics for providing the G Wagon today. Check out their website, give the video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and smash that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.